Welcome to UnJustified, where we always cover the truth, the facts, the good, the bad, the ugly, on an unbiased and sometimes very unpopular opinion. If you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe now and hit the notification bell, and that way you will receive all of our upcoming videos. Thank you so much for being here, and we do hope you enjoy today's video. This is 36-year-old Lacey Fletcher. She is from Parrish, Louisiana. Lacey was disabled, and she passed away at her parents' home on January the 3rd. Her death was also ruled a homicide. A grand jury will now decide on Monday if Lacey's parents should be charged for her death. When the coroner was dispatched by the responding officers from the 911 call that her parents placed, when he walked inside, he could immediately smell the odor inside the house. He is quoted as saying the only thing he could smell was human feces and human fecal matter. He said he was brought into the room where Lacey was. His explanation was Lacey was actually melted into a sofa that was covered with urine and wet feces.
The first responders, fire department, sheriff's deputies showed up on scene like within 30 seconds. They deemed that it was obviously a deceased individual, so they called me. After we processed the scene, I was able to place her body in a black body bag, and I took it down to Jefferson Parish for autopsy. Never seen anything like this that literally turned my stomach as bad as it did. It got me to be emotional, and I'm a pretty strong person. The worst form of medical neglect I've ever seen. I mean, I don't know any other adjectives or adverbs to add to that. When I first walked in the house, it smelled of feces, fecal material, however you want to put that politely. It stunk. When I got to the body, the individual was basically sitting in a hole filled with liquid stool and urine. This was tough.
The autopsy also showed that she had been neglected for decades. Not even sure when the last time she was possibly even mobile. He went on to say when he got to Lacey that he honestly just could not believe what he was seeing. Said she was sitting on a 1960s style sofa, basically sitting in a hole that she had melted into that was nothing but covered with wet feces and urine.
A body of a woman who essentially deteriorated into a couch. They suspect she suffered from years of neglect.
The district attorney decided a few days later that he was going to bring this case to a grand jury, and that's going to decide whether or not that the parents are going to be charged in Lacey's death. The officer said, "I have never seen anything like this before. This literally turned my stomach and made me extremely emotional. I still get sick at the thought of the smell, and I still cry daily a week later." A grand jury will decide on Monday, May the 2nd, if the parents are going to be charged. They could face charges such as second-degree murder, manslaughter, cruelty to the infirmed, negligent homicide, or they may not even have any charges pressed against them. Lacey was found actually just rotting and melted into a couch at her parents' home. Now this happened, she was actually found back in January. She only weighed 96 pounds. Lacey's parents, Sheila and Clay Fletcher, and they are longtime residents of Slaughter, Louisiana. When she was found, she had insects all over her body, and she was covered in feces from head to toe. The couch was like a toilet, and her body had just kind of melted through the padding of the sofa. But sources have estimated that she has been sitting in the same place for years and years. One of the neighbors said that one day a couple of years ago, he had asked the father how she was doing because he hadn't seen her. And the father only replied, "Yeah, she still stays here." The neighbor said he used to see Lacey outside, but that stopped about 5 or 6 years ago. And he's just in disbelief that her parents could have kept such an awful, dirty secret. He said they go to church every weekend. These people will do anything for anyone.
Neighbors and friends say that they never even knew that they had a daughter. The district attorney says that they haven't been taken into custody because they're not considered a flight risk. The DA says he is asking a grand jury to bring second-degree murder charges against both parents.
Now, news channels did try to reach out to the Fletcher parents, but no one was at home. Their lawyer, Stephen Moore, released this statement.
A statement saying, quote, "They don't want to relive the pain of losing a child through the media. They have been through a lot of heartache over the years, and anyone who had lost a child knows what it's like."
He also said that the parents was not asked to be present for the hearing on Monday. Lacey's parents, 64-year-old Sheila and 65-year-old Clay Fletcher, are very well-respected people in their area. When Lacey was found, she was partially naked. She was sitting straight up and submerged in a hole in a couch, and she was covered literally from head to toe in urine, liquid feces, insect bites, live bugs, and rodent excrement nearby at their otherwise extremely tidy and well-kept home in Slaughter. The coroner has been doing his job and being a medical worker since the 1970s. And when you hear him say that he has, quote, seen some horrible things in all of these years and in his life, but he has never seen anything like this. He went on to add that she had bed sores that went all the way down to the bone. Lacey was disabled. She suffered from a syndrome called locked-in syndrome. This is a rare neurological disorder characterized by complete paralysis of voluntary muscles, except for the muscles that controlled her eyes. The parents had called 911 because Lacey wasn't breathing. The parents were supposed to be Lacey's care providers, but the coroner said that she had not even been to a physician in over 20 years. He said, "This is just unbelievable. This is literally something that you make horror movies about." When they arrived to the home, they noticed that it was very well kept up and a very nice neighborhood. But when they got inside, they said it was unbelievable. It was the things nightmares were made out of. He described that the stench was so bad it would almost run you out of the complete house. He knew that this was a potential crime scene, and so he immediately called the detective. The parents were in the kitchen, and they didn't even have an explanation for him. So her death was ruled a homicide, and the cause of death was medical negligence. He recorded her official time of death as 3:07 a.m. on January the 3rd, 2022, but said that he believes that she was deceased at least 24 to 48 hours prior to that. Lacey's mother, Sheila, actually worked as a police and court clerk in Baker, and more recently as an assistant to the city prosecutor in Zachary. And according to her LinkedIn page, Sheila was a Slaughter official who resigned her post on the town's board of aldermen on January the 24th, 3 weeks after her daughter's death. She served for 4 years and most recently as the mayor pro tem.
Her mother works as an assistant to the city prosecutor in Zachary and is now on administrative leave.
Lacey's father, Clay, is an officer of a nonprofit Baton Rouge Civil War Roundtable, which has a mission to educate and foster an appreciation the sacrifices made by all during the Civil War.
Her father resigned as president of the Baton Rouge Civil War Roundtable Tuesday. The program director, John Potts, has known Clay Fletcher for roughly 6 years and is stunned by the news.
Shock, because it doesn't match with my experience of him. He's completely different than what you would expect someone like that to be. Details are horrific. There's no doubt about that. And I can't conceive of how something like that could even happen.
Neighbors and friends say they never knew they had a daughter.
He mentioned that she passed away in January, and that was all I know of that.
Now, on Monday, the coroner is going to be present for the case to the grand jury, and he hopes that the parents of the daughter will be there as well. The coroner also said, I probably will not even have to open my mouth. The pictures is going to show the truth. Locked-in syndrome is a rare brain disorder that completely paralyzes the body. It causes complete paralysis of the voluntary muscles except for the muscles that control the eyes. People with locked-in syndrome are conscious. They can think and they can reason, but they are unable to speak or move. The only way they can communicate is through blinking and vertical eye movements. The district attorney learned that Lacey was having some issues and she went to see a psychiatrist in 1999 or early 2000s because she had been antisocial. He said that in 2011 or 12, her parents claimed that she did not want to leave the house and she had not been to a doctor. He said that Lacey's parents claimed that she was able to communicate with them and that she apparently never complained. In this suburb, the homes are spread out over acres, so when the news of Lacey's death broke, many in that community were absolutely stunned. Some of these people were church-going friends with the parents, and they had no idea that they had a daughter or another person was even in their home. Thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave us a comment below on your thoughts of this video. And until next time, this is UnJustified.